It's time for Recipe of the Day. Happy Friday. We made it. And I'm telling you, I am doing a little happy dance over here for two reasons. Tomorrow, I am going to see the comedian Nate Bargatze perform live here in Orlando with my family. I've been looking forward to this forever. He cracks me up so much. He's the guy who plays Washington on those Saturday Night Live skits. If you haven't seen them before and you need a laugh, or if you have seen them before and you need a laugh, just search for Washington Saturday Night Live and you'll see it. It's so funny. So that's what's happening tomorrow. And tonight I'm having a couple of my girlfriends over and we're doing a little dip party, you know, where everybody brings or makes a dip, and that is basically what we're having for dinner. It is total girl dinner, just dips. And I am making this dip that I'm telling you about today, the cottage cheese guacamole. It is delicious, extra creamy, and high protein. So I know that my friends are going to be so excited about it. I can't wait for them to try it. I can't wait for you to try it. So I have told you before about some similar things. I have a cottage cheese avocado toast. I have a whipped cottage cheese dip recipe. Both of those are delicious, and they were kind of the inspiration for this. Really, the inspiration comes from the whipped cottage cheese. When I first tried that, you're literally just putting cottage cheese in a food processor or blender. Sometimes you need a little bit of water to get it sort of moving and blending, season it up, and it's just like creamy, light, almost like fluffy, silky, delicious. And then as soon as you try that, you start thinking about all the things you can add it to, such as mashed avocado, which is what we're doing today. So really, I'm going to tell you the recipe in a second, but it really is pureeing the cottage cheese and then adding some mashed up avocado. If you wanted to, you don't have to puree the cottage cheese. I have seen recipes for cottage cheese guacamole where they don't do that. They just mix it together. You just don't get that wonderful creamy texture when you do that. But what I am going to say is, if you are pureeing it, you have to be careful about some of the ingredients that you then add, because some brands of cottage cheese will curdle if they hit acidity. And so you don't necessarily want to add lemon or lime juice or even chopped tomato. Instead, I recommend that you use lemon pepper instead of the lemon or lime. You can alternatively use some coriander, which has that citrusy flavor, or some sumac, also nice citrus flavor, or some of that crystallized lime or crystallized lemon. It's 100% lemon or lime juice. People add it into their like water, that kind of thing. A little pinch of that will work as well. For the tomato, I am calling for tomato powder. I've told you about this before. I will link to it in the show notes because you don't find it at grocery stores. Usually you have to get it at Amazon or some specialty stores. And it's basically 100% tomato that has been powdered, and it kind of tastes like sun-dried tomatoes a little bit. And so you just add a little bit of that and it gives you this really like rich tomatoey flavor without the acidity of actual like tomato juice from tomatoes that could lead to curdling of your cottage cheese. So yeah, you can add whatever things you like to add to the guacamole. Normally, you just want to avoid anything that is overly acidic. Okay, I'm going to tell you the recipe for making this now. You are measuring a cup of cottage cheese into a food processor or blender, and it can be any cottage cheese that you like the flavor of. I tend to buy the fat-free cottage cheese. It's of course better with the full fat. That is up to you. And then you're adding to that half a teaspoon of salt and 1 clove of garlic. Then you're going to puree that until it's smooth, scraping down the sides occasionally. And you want to do it really well, like do it for longer than you think you need. That's when it starts to kind of whip up and get extra fluffy. And I'll just say that if for some reason yours isn't blending up well, it's not pureeing, it's just that your blender is not really as strong, you can just drizzle in a teaspoon or 2 of water, kind of mix it in, and then go back to pureeing it, and it will start blending really well at that point. Okay, now you could add the avocados straight to there, but I tend to like my guacamole to have a little bit of texture to it. So instead, what I do is to get 3 avocados, pitted and peeled, and put them into a large bowl and mash them with a fork until they're fairly smooth, but they still have that chunkiness, you know? Then you scrape the cottage cheese mixture onto that mashed avocado, add in a 1/4 teaspoon of lemon pepper, a 1/4 teaspoon of tomato powder if you have some, and give that a nice stir. And then you're mixing in half of a small onion finely finely chopped. You could do red onion, sweet onion. You could even do a couple of scallions here, green onions if you wanted to, and also half of a jalapeno that you've seeded and minced up. And you can do some cilantro, like a quarter cup of finely chopped cilantro, and then give that a really good stir so everything's mixed thoroughly. Taste it, add salt and pepper if you'd like, and serve that with some tortilla chips. Your girlfriends and mine are going to love it. I will put the link in the show notes for this for you so you can make it this weekend, or you can head to cookthestory.com/ROTD and get it there. Everything there is arranged by date, so it's helpful to know that today is August 15th of 2025. And I'll just tell you, in the world with all these AI recipes everywhere these days, if you want to know that you're finding recipes that you can trust, one thing you can do is to bookmark my websites, cookthestory.com and thecookful.com. And then when you're looking for something to make, go there and search there. The search function works really well. Or when you're Googling for recipes, like if you want to make, I don't know, spaghetti and meatballs, or you want to make guacamole, go to Google and type in guacamole Christine Pittman, and you will find everything that I have right there. So add my name to your search and you will start finding my recipes, and then you know for sure that you can trust them because you know a real person, me, made them for you. I am Christine Pittman from cookthestory.com, thecookful.com, the all-new chicken cookbook, and from this podcast, Recipe of the Day. I hope you have a great day. Let's get cooking.